Welcome to Insight. In the 1960s, birth rates and unemployment were booming in the small French territory of Réunion. At the same time, both were down in rural areas of mainland France. In order to balance these numbers, the French government decided that some 2,000 children should be taken from their homes and families in the small island and the Indian Ocean and resettled in France. Children from poor and illiterate families were lured with promises of a better life, education, and the bright lights of the Eiffel Tower. The reality was quite different, with some up working on farms or for rich families, and not all of them coped well in their new surroundings. Insight's Myriam Francois tells us more.
They're known as the children of La Creuse. It's the name of a rural region in France where they were taken to as part of a government programme to repopulate deserted areas. Their story has largely been buried, but a national investigation is shining new light on this dark chapter of French history. La Réunion is an overseas territory considered part of France. From the 1960s, orphans and children from poor families were taken from the island to mainland France with promises of a good education and a brighter future. Instead, many ended up with shattered lives. Marie-Jeanne describes herself as a broken person. Taken at the age of 7, she ended up in several abusive homes with her older sister, who years later committed suicide. The memories of her arrival in a cold and foreign land remain painful.
Avec ma sœur, donc on a vu ce couple-là, là, par là, très vieux, très triste. Et puis, c'était un 16 septembre 1966. Donc, on ne comprenait pas trop. Enfin, on ne nous avait pas expliqué, donc on ne savait pas ce pourquoi on arrivait là, quoi. Et puis, donc, elle dit... on ne veut pas la grande, comme ça, on ne veut pas la grande. Oh là, je sais pas, c'était quelque chose de déchirant d'être séparés alors qu'on est venus toutes les deux, rien que toutes les deux.
For many victims, the impact on their life has been devastating. Alcoholism, dependency issues, suicide are widespread.
Ma vie est gâchée, quoi. C'est bon, j'ai pas fait une vie comme les autres, quoi. Ça se voit. Et les gens me disent toujours, hein. Ça se voit. J'ai pas le même comportement, je parle pas comme les autres. J'ai pas le souvenir comme les autres, ils n'ont pas le machin, tout ça.
It was at this children's home in the Creuse region of France that some of the 2,150 children taken from the island of the Réunion by the French government in the 1960s first arrived. From babies to teenagers, they were taken from here to repopulate parts of rural France, in many cases against their own will.
In 2002, the controversial policy was brought to light when a former exile sued the French state for kidnapping of a minor, roundup and deportation. Many of the illiterate families who agreed to the scheme were promised annual flights home for the children. These never materialized. Today, they are at the center of the victims' claims.
On attend que l'État nous paye nos voyages comme il nous devait, hein, et avec tout ce que ça comporte, hébergement et tout. Voilà, c'est ce qu'on demande. Sinon, au niveau indemnisation, la ministre nous a bien fait comprendre qu'il n'y aurait pas d'indemnisation. Voilà.
In 2014, the French state acknowledged its moral responsibility in the affair and appointed a national commission to investigate.
Si nous arrivons in fine à expliciter aux ex-mineurs transplantés de leur donner les raisons de leur départ, de leur permettre d'accéder à leur dossier, et de se reconstruire, je pense que nous serons à la hauteur de la mission difficile qui nous a été attribuée.
But for the victims, the enduring impact of their stolen childhood remains, and they fight on for their dream of a return to the island of their birth. Myriam Francois, TRT World, La Creuse in France.